Normalize EQ. Stereo left, right, check. Spaceship atmospheric acclimation. Check. Spectrum analyzer. Check. What's up, everybody? So the first thing is I want to tell you the settings I'm using in my Spectrum Analyzer. I put a preset into the preset section on Discord that you could join. If you're just watching now, this is track feedback with people from the Mixotuxture production crew who are making amazing tracks, updating them a few times a week, sharing them in our Discord server, and then I play them from Discord, talk about the three big things we got to accomplish in electronic music, which are sound design, song structure, and the mix. To have original sounds that move around and go somewhere, number one. Number two, in the arrangement, song structure has to have a climax that takes us on some kind of a ride, an emotional journey of some sort. And number three is the mix. Of course, you got to drop some bass. So right now we're listening to a pre-album release of Grown Out of Minimal album promo for Plants of the Gods, which is a 63-minute ambient dark beats jam. And I'm not going to play the whole thing right now. I just want to tell you what you're hearing. But while we're looking at this screen, check out the Spectrum Analyzer settings. You can see my voice, and when I stop talking, we see the track. The thing that makes Spectrum useful with these settings is it's very fast and responsive, and there's a top line that holds the position of the most recent sound or something like that. So look at the settings down there. Block is 16384, basically maxed out. Refresh rate is as fast as possible. I think that goes up and more from down there. Average, line 1. We got bins, not line. Preserve the max line. Logarithmic scale. And this is important. Have your range from 0 to minus 180. So the top of the scale is like 0 dB, and the bottom is minus 180. And it stays kind of in place. It's not like readjusting for a decibel level, so you can get a rough idea of the decibel like volume level of any frequency range. But most importantly is what I'm doing is putting my mouse on the line, and I read in the little box that's down in the left corner. So if I want to know, hey, what's that bass note we're listening to? I put the mouse right on there, and I can see in the little box 82.5 hertz. The note is E, common for, well, guitar music actually. And I can even see that the mouse at this level is showing minus 30 dB. The decibel level is not the most important thing, but being able to read the frequency and the MIDI note is super important, so that I know, hey, if I wrote a track and the bass line is centered on the note E, the Spectrum Analyzer right now tells me that in my EQs, I can go to 83, 80, 82 hertz and put a little bump right there and get that bass note. So it's a connection between the sound you're hearing, the frequency in numbers, and the note in pitch, like on the MIDI keyboard. That's like the Rosetta Stone of mixing, to be able to translate, like, I hear something, I feel it doesn't feel right, I know what I played, or I know what note it is, but how do I EQ that? Well, this tells you the answer from having Spectrum Analyzer set up to work just like this. So what we're gonna do is play through some tracks, look at them on the Spectrum. I have not figured out how to get my voice out of Spectrum. So I guess the good news is that makes me shut up a little more often. And there we can see everything. So what's up, everybody? Nice to see you all in there. I did hear that little crackle, and I can check one thing. Sometimes my audio resets itself, but nope, that's what I want. Going out that interface. And this is Grown Out of Minimal, Plants of the Gods. We can't do the whole thing, but I'm gonna do what I do when I see an album preview, is just kind of bump through it. Oh, you know what I want to see is these. And an album that's had really nice mastering treatment, one of the signs is that all the tracks feel like they're coming from the same world of sound, even if it's different tempo or different instruments even. A really nicely mixed release will sound like you can just put up the volume anywhere on the album and it's listenable. This actually makes me want to drive really fast on the highway. So good. Oh yeah, this track. And look at that, he put it halfway through the album. Good sequencing. Oh, no mastering yet. Jeez, I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, you know, it sounds like the mastering's really good. He's like, I didn't even master it yet. That snare drum sounds like Kimono Breeze. Good shit. You guys are going to make me buy a 303, I swear. What with Mindbender and everybody else. All right, I got to do one thing because I need that monitor window floating on top. So I think that's going to be utility windows. Yeah. And here. Because that little green meter is telling me how loud to put everything. Scott, this is one big track. And I guess, oh, there's a new version up. So here's like a preview of what's going to be on this one. That last. Oh, that's one long track at the end. Yeah, Pivclit, this is sounding amazing. We're all looking forward to it. No, Bo, I did hear a couple crackles at the beginning when it was kind of spinning up or something. Sorry about that. Yeah, when the mix is good as the master. So to kick it off, hey everybody, thanks for being here. I'm gonna play Ben Hunt first. This is Anna version 2. And I gotta tell you, we have so many tracks right now. I'm pretty much gonna add a third day of track feedback so we do it 3 times a week. Because I don't like skipping people's tracks. I don't like rushing the tracks. I do wanna play as much of the music as we can. And if I can get the rest of the universe sorted out to do 3 days a week, I think I should be able to do that. That might mean that not everybody can be live. I wouldn't expect everybody to be at every one of the 3 sessions. So there might be some scheduling thing of, I don't know how to tell you when your track is going to be played. That might need to get worked out. But I do try to play everything. So here we go, Ben Hunt. I'm going to bring up the level on the master. Watch your ears. The 50 hertz kick drum. Hey, Jesper's here. We got the Matt Schultz. We got Oliver. Oh, Maxime, hey. Yeah, that bass line right here. Dung, dung, dugga, dugga, dung, dung. Double bumps, pausing. This is a song structure comment. It's so easy to make transitions with doubled up kick drums, and it's so important and so helpful. Like when I talk about transitions, it's like something that happens in the song to break up the monotony and just keep it interesting. And this track wasn't getting boring at all, but those double bumps just grab attention and just like, ah. So I want to find that again. right there at 204. The beats feel really crisp. The low end is nice, the hi-hat thing is nice, and then the synths in the middle are just totally filling the mid-range in a really balanced way. So this is a great mix. All right, now we had a nice build-up. Oh, a riser came in, a new sound entered. What did we do to make the build-up? I'm just gonna stop and analyze the parts. This is where we have a great track that's working, and I'm trying to pull out a recipe that everybody can use, including me. I'm gonna steal these tips in my own tracks. We got to a build-up. There was a white noise riser going whoosh. I felt like a bloom of reverb happened at the same time of the synths or something. Like the whole track just grew. It was like it's like getting bigger and growing. So let's listen to what are the sounds coming in that made the build-up, and then 2, notice what new sound enters after the build-up. Like a transition is a great moment to lead up to introducing a new sound. Let's just hear what happened. I think that was a delay, right? Ian, DJ Waters comment, this track could go up a few BPM. It's in the slow disco kind of vibe right now. I could hear it a little faster, but nothing wrong with it. I like the placement of the synths. There's one over here that's like the pad. And then kind of on my left ear is like that meow 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 meow. Now we're in the breakdown. No hi-hats in the breakdown. Sounds good. The synth world is getting louder again. And that bass line is so good and gummy down low. Just keeps you right in the groove. Vocal. Okay. The only thing I want to comment on right now is that I felt the kick drum ramping in slowly from underneath as we were approaching that drop. And when the drop happened, it didn't feel like the kick drum was like boom, like noticeably loud and kicking. So I guess this is a matter of taste or debate, but I'm curious how it would sound without the kick drum having a slow volume ramp up. It felt like it was pulsing in from far away. I think I might have said the same thing on the last version. So it's okay and it works because it's like the track is like pulsing and growing and you feel the low end is there. But then when the drop happens, it almost feels like I want the kick drum to be like twice as loud or something. Let's just listen. Where does that first kick drum start creeping in? There's a whole lot of low end right here. By now the kick is like big already. I don't know, what do you guys think? Does anybody agree with me on that or have a different opinion? It works, it's okay, but maybe not exactly what I would do. Yeah, Scott, it feels like the bass has a percussive, the bass line build is so big that you don't need the kick drum in that build section. So that's, what was that, around 3 minutes or something? kick needs more high end. I thought that too. When the kick drops in, it needs more like a which I've said repeatedly at 2.2 kilohertz, 2.5 kilohertz, 2K, something around there has like the click kind of part of the kick drum. Kick needs more high end, have the kick drop out 1 bar before drop. Actually, the kick did drop out before the drop, right? At 410, yeah. So, and a new sparkly high-end synth. Really, the mid-range synth work on this is just beautiful. So Ben, this is sounding really close to done. The arrangement, the timeline, the structure, the mix, everything is great. The biggest debate is like, I think, cutting out the kick drum before that drop. Nice ending. Gate down my mic a little bit. How you like that? Perfect illustration of why I use a gate. So the time we're talking about is, get a timestamp. About 340 until 410. That's where the kick drum is fading up in volume. And I don't think you need it because the bass line is big and gooey and gummy and great. It just keeps going. And you don't really need a kick drum in that part. And I think the drop will be more effective and feel better and feel fresher if you don't have the kick drum ramping in. The technique is cool though. I like it, just not right here. Maxime, still missing maybe some harmonies. On a third going up all right. Yeah. I like the vocal part. So let's move on to the next one. I don't like rushing, but I do like playing tracks. Is Mindbender here? The legendary Mindbender. I call him Mindblender, but okay, first demo revision 3, and I think this was in the downtempo section, right? This dude comes with these low-end bass mixes every time. Nice reverbs, right? Whoosh. That's a good vocal. That came in so big. That bass line feels like somebody plucking. It feels like real stringy, like dwang, 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 in a really good way. Yeah, nobody wants their tracks played right around Mindbender. This is just too much awesome stuff happening at the same time. I was trying to express that bass line feels like a string sound. It's like bam, bam, has like a plucky sound that I dig. And there was something with a cymbal crash on a kick drum beat. We were in a little bit of a gap. I like the Mindbender structures because he was telling me about how he records synth parts as a jam and then lays in the beats after. So he's not trying to like count 32 bars or do anything like mapping out minute by minute. And this had a really interesting structure. We were here with the beat. And that vocal is so big and wide. Now I was surprised that the kick dropped out right here because like the main vocal came in, kind of tricked you with a little gap. It was right here. That short little crash. Okay, Matt Schultz is saying the kick drum is peaking higher than the bass line. I'm seeing bass line right there about 87 note F. And our kick is at 45. Orton, this shit is smacking, man. The big problem with this track is it's only 2 minutes long. That snare is like...
I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over.
Okay. What sound came in on the percussion when the lead vocal came in? I want to see if that happened the first time too. That was really effective. We're totally in the groove. That groove is like, come here, come here. That snare drum was like so right in your face. And then the vocal came in, that beautiful big wide vocal that's nice and loud on top, and another percussion sound came in. So the question is, how did that feel happen?
I'm living for today.
Is it that tambourine?
I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over. I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over. I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over.
Okay, you might have heard me say don't cut off your reverb tails. Also make sure you don't cut off 4 minutes of the track. No, I'm kidding. I want this longer. This is a great, great track. Let's hear, where did that lead vocal come in the first time and what was the percussion doing?
I'm living for today.
Okay. There's like an egg shaker going.
I'm living for today.
Yeah, I think that little tambourine comes in with the lead vocal. So the percussion gets to like the main section when the lead vocal's
It's
in.
not over.
Let's hear how that changes.
I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over. I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over.
Okay, that tambourine is still in. Oh, no, it's not. That's like something a person would do playing the tambourine. They go, and then you bump it against your butt to stop it. Wow. So what I'm getting at here is song structure. If you have a long jam that's like a long loop and it's so grooving that it's good, you know, there's nothing wrong with a loop that you just want to listen to for a long time. We all do that in the studio. But the question is like, what do you do with your song structure to define chunks where things are happening that make it clear? Like now we're in a bigger section, now we're pulling it back a little bit. And I think something as simple as adding a little jangly tambourine is making it happen with that lead vocal. And then there's a cymbal crash and the tambourine goes brrr and does that change out thing. Let's listen to how the tambourine exits this section.
I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over.
That bass line, just tweaking a little filter. Man, Piv Clip made me want to drive fast on the highway. This one I want to like fly a helicopter. I don't know how to fly a helicopter, but you never know. I'm just waiting for that lead vocal to come back in. These samples are nice. Was it all the way out here? Wow, Matt Schultz, the rule of pairs. 2 elements at a time. So it's going to be lead vocal and tambourine right here, right?
I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over.
All right. Last note on song structure. Last week we were talking about what makes a melody that gets stuck in your head. How do you make an earworm that people can sing along to? And one common answer is traditionally make it easy to sing, so it's going like up and down steps of a scale. Living for today, it's not over. Goes. So the end of the melody is the same note that it started on, and you just go up the melody and down the melody. So melodically, you're going up the mountain and down the mountain. You're hitting a climax and coming back down. That's a really simple songwriting technique that makes things get stuck in your head. So the challenge is how to take a dumb scale and make it interesting for the millionth time. What are you guys talking about? Ah, the horn synth. Boderev, la 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 la. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, speaking of DJ Waters, it's time for the Laughing Swallowtail. Just gonna pull my master volume down a little bit right here. And Morton Mindbender, please give us a 6-minute or 7-minute dub of that track. And if there's more of the lead vocal, the female vocal, I don't know if that's like the only words that she says, but I'm sort of imagining there might be a story where she says more words, but maybe not. In any case, the mix is amazing. The sounds are really good. The way that you chop up sections and create variation is super interesting because it's not a formula. It's clearly not like a formulaic thing. And the only problem that anybody has is that it's just not long enough. All right, so Ian, track is version 1 in the background. Little sync, little violin, little drops. Let's hear what we got. That sounded like it was outside of my headphones in the room somewhere. Jeez. Piano needs to be louder. Whoa. All right. Hey. Whoa. Whoa. So the piano needs to be louder because the bounp is really overpowering it. And there's no reason not to have the piano louder. Like that'll tell people where to set the volume of the mix and they won't get annihilated when the kick drum happens. That crash that came in was super sharp in my ears. And that synth stab was also too much. So in general, you want to watch your high frequencies. And let's keep going. That. Ooh. Ow. Oh my God. Sounds like a bird.
Shall we?
Now I'm good. High frequency. Is that Vincent Price laughing from Thriller? We're on the red on the VU meter. Yeah, right now that piano is not coming through. Or violin. That'll be cool with the violin on top of that hard driving beat. It's like folk music with electronic supplements. Where did this music come from? Did you get this from is this like a record you had? Like a violin? Okay, now those are out of sync a little bit. I think you mentioned that, so okay. That synth needs to come down. Bam, bam. I double
Shall
clicked.
we?
This part of the mix is feeling good. The kick drum grinding width and stereo fuzz and everything is really nicely done. The low end is clear. It's like you could play this part right here and it would sound good. Now it's a little out of sync with the violin. Okay, so offset piano is intentional. This is fun madness, I gotta agree. Cool, so just watch those high frequencies, that synth stab, the crash cymbal, Those are the real mixed notes that are going to matter. That sounds like Vincent Price from the Michael Jackson record, which is probably going to get you a copyright strike. Sorry, even though it is Halloween almost. Good shit, man. I'm not sure what your plan is with the piano violin during the hard beats, but if you want them to come through, they need to be a bunch louder. And if you want to synchronize them or not, that's up to you. Cool stuff. And I love how you're sharing this process with us. And it's definitely coming together every week, more and more interesting. Okay. Is Caesar here? I'm not sure. We got a Sesk RL track. We got Donats, Stevenos, and these guys. So Varao, is this a new version, Oliver, or is that the same one? And then Scott Burke, if you're watching, let us know, are we doing the Visionary or the Laced? Because, and then we'll do some Randy Adams. Randy's here too, right? Randy just put this one in. You came to listen, right? So let's do, let's go through. I'm going to start this playing and then let me know if it's not updated or if it is. Because I reviewed this on Wednesday, and if it's the same mix, more little kick drum edits that sound good. This track feels like it could really just go. Oh, we got the OSP dub techno. Yes, Matt. Oliver, I'm guessing this is the same mix. Kind of sounds like the same mix. Yeah, vocals amazing. Yeah, I was saying the string sample violin could be a little louder at that part. That's such a great track. That's gonna be ready to go. So winter's coming, if I understand anything about language roots. This is 7 minutes. We're gonna be skipping forward a little bit. The energy in that last one is so like up. It's like tropical, and now we're like snowflakes. The 43 hertz F kick, lumpy and bumpy. I said this a bunch last week. Watch how the bass notes pop up compared to the kick drum. You can see the bass notes. All right, if we got a C, an E flat, and a G, we're in C minor. Feels nice and soft. It has that kind of background scraping hiss sort of thing. Stereo delays. Let me turn this up a little bit. Yeah, low end is definitely working. I love that stereo delay or tapping in the background. Now we get the closed hi-hat. OSP could not resist. Looking at 5K. Okay, this one is a little too high frequency. It's a good placement, came in at the right time, but is noticeably like chick, chick, chick. Almost like something you would put a de-esser on. So I would 9K, either lower the volume a little bit or notch a tight notch at 9K or something with that so it's a little more like buttery with the other hi-hat. And we got that snare tap right here around like 2 to 3K. It's almost exact. A little bit at 1K. While we have a nice long track, let me ask, do you guys know about octave EQing? Like if you have a note C and you can see the frequency, do you realize if you go to the next higher C 1 octave higher, you can double the frequency? Let's check that out. There's C3 at 262. What if we go to 520? That note is C4. So especially with low-end stuff, when you have a bass note and you want to know how to EQ the rest of the parts, octaves double in frequency. So 1 octave higher with the same note is going to be twice the same frequency. So if you have a frequency problem at like 3000 with a sound that you want to EQ it down at 3000, you should look at 6000 and you should look at 1500 because that's the same octave of that sound. So the harmonics that you're hearing, you can find them by looking at the math of octaves either doubled or cut in half. Numerically, dude. What do you mean my spectrum is gone? What happened? Okay, the view is hanging on your side. It's not doing that on my side. I don't know why. Maybe there's an answer. Shit, I hope it starts up again, otherwise I'm just talking, but it looks like I'm moving. Yeah, so Oliver, sound design is great, just like what Matt just said. Clicks, effects in the background, gritty noise layer, the chords, pads, the delays, the stereo field. Everything about it is super cool. What if I just totally change views? Watch out, I'm gonna go in the tunnel. Whoa. Boom. Okay, there we go. Okay, looks like that worked. That long feedback on the delay is so good. Let's hear how we got out of it. And then here, that's me on the high shelf EQ. I would take the hiss and do a slow, high frequency roll off towards the end of the track, just from here, like this. so that the highs just come down and it sounds intentional and fun. Did you say this is your first dub techno track? Come on. It's playable. I don't think I heard any single thing that needed to be adjusted. I might have missed a couple of comments, but yeah, really well done. That's a beautiful track. It felt good the whole way through. The sounds were pulsing and cruising. No comments. Oh, Randy Adam got over here. Okay, let's do Visionary and then we'll do Randy. Okay. So Visionary 4, right? Because we're going to skip Laced. Let's check. Stop glitching. Okay, I just pulled down the levels. Kick drum comes in so nice and big and clean. I think you did some work on the harmonics or something. I think maybe that drum reverb could come down just a little bit so that the synth space. Ooh, it's driving. Yeah, if the drum reverb comes down a little bit, the synths can be more like around the mids. Yeah, man, this feels a lot more clean. We got that arpeggiated lead thing happen, the bass line is clear, and the kick drum is clear. It's like simple. Yeah, Scott, the bass line and the pitch change, it's so much better this time. It's just, like I get into it and it stays where in the same place harmonically. Okay, hold on. Is this back to the intro? I think that little wave right there. Wait, what's that? Okay. That sub is super nice and deep. I was wondering if that synth part was the same thing we heard already, or if that was like a new arrangement. Here's the part where the synths have a ton of space around them. This is the reason why the drum reverb could be lower, because these synths are really nice and echoing in the space, and the drums could be more dry, just cutting through all that, I think. Which would also take down the volume, the perceived volume of the drums just a little bit on that hi-hat comment. I like this melody line coming up. Oh, this is cool. I gotta come back to right here. Okay, 2 comments. There was a minute where the bass synth chords were not super tight with the upper synth, almost like a performance thing if like a person was playing the keyboard a little bit tiny late. Let's just hear that. So the high melody is on like an arpeggiated thing, right? Right there, wow. So the bass line is going down, boom, boom, boom. Those actual like finger pressures or touches on the keyboard are not super lined up with what the arpeggiator is doing in the melody, so it sounds a little out. That one's okay. Little late. Little late. It's almost right on, but it's almost right on, and that's probably the same thing that you played earlier, but when that other part is so quantized with the arpeggiation thing, those synth stabs are showing up as being out a little bit because they're being compared to something else than they were before. So you might want to adjust those just in that section. And the other comment was, this is a really, really gripping buildup. The high-end stuff is doing cool things. I would maybe play with removing that low bass drone as we get closer and closer to the kick drum drop, again, to make the bottom hit heavier. So let's listen again, and I'm going to EQ the bottom out on the board and then drop it back in on the kick. Let's see if that is tolerable. So from like 354, this really cool sound came in from 354, and that was the exact instant I wanted the bass to roll out, because that other sound goes up, the whole track could lift, like a high-pass filter on the master channel or something to, or technically you could do it in a bunch of ways, but just, let me find 354 again. This sound, that gives it the lifting feel. And then one other quick comment, your vocal samples could be louder. And I know I keep stopping this. The vocal sample right before here, compare it to the Mindbender track that we listened to, that slow jam. Not the lead vocal sample, but the other ones. There were a couple other samples that were like really nice and loud and crisp. And if yours were like jumping out like that, I think in this part it would be cool. Because it feels like there's that 354 higher pitch sound. The track feels like it's a lift. There's like a female voice, like, oh, some angels or something. And then the guy's voice could be louder to go with it. Right here. Future, same future. I don't know, there's small mix details, but those little things in that section are gonna just make it totally lift up and be like big. Yes, that hi-hat. Yeah, man. And it's harmonically so nice and clean now. Everything is just in a space that we can just get the message, you know? Yeah, this is much better than last week. It's like much better. Yeah. And right there, the melody can change to like a couple different notes or something, but it doesn't take you harmonically out of the bassline feel. That's why it works. GemX, what's up? Thanks for joining. Okay, 5 minutes, good track length. Still interesting. Let's see how we get out of this. That's cool. You're doing the high pass filter thing on the bass right there to exit. That crystal synth sound, it feels like kind of like if you bang two stones together that are really resonant, they're like, what's the word for it? Anyway, I'd like to hear those longer without the kick drum. Is there a possibility we could get when the bass line is gone? Okay, no, at 623, like another 8 bars of just that synth echoing with the delay, and then do something to, I don't know, pull up the wet drive, more delay, pull down the original, or something like that. Because that sound is so cool. That's one that I would definitely want to play with in a set to extend it over the intro of the next track coming up. So this one, you didn't cut it off too soon, but that high part should just, I would like a little bit more of that, like another 15 seconds of the track or something like that. Really good. That gets some claps because that was probably the most dramatic change I've seen between two mixes in a while. Last week it was like, I'm not saying this to be mean, but imagine you sit down to eat some pizza with your friends and you're at a table and there's pizza, and then somebody comes and throws a big blanket over you and the pizza and your friends and everybody, and you're like trying to eat pizza under a blanket. I don't know where that image came from, but this mix feels like harmonically somebody just pulled the blanket off and we're like, all right, kick drum, bass line, chords, melody, it's all right there and you can stay in it and it's not like pulling you around harmonically. Something that just got so much better. So don't drop blankets on your pizza. That's what I'm trying to tell you people. And it looks like there was a whole bunch of good comments in there too. So let's move on to Randy Adams in the Deep House Zone with the track Yellow. Randy always kicks it in from the first beat with something that's like, yes. It's mellow. That little like cymbal sound could be louder. It's like shh. Percussion is great. Is Randy here? Randy. All those little clicks and glurps are so. Hold on though, there is something happening that's in the lower mids. It's like kind of a boxy thing. I want to find out, where did that start? This is perfect, so clean. Kick drum, bass sound, beats. There's kind of a dark reverb in there. Oh, okay. Look at 350 and listen to what sound is popping up at 350 hertz. Bump, bump. That little sound that's popping up around 350, bump, bump, is feels like it's kind of taking away from the bassline clarity. It felt like a little mud kind of feeling. So I'm not sure. Let's keep going and see what that turns into. Percussion's like excellent, so interesting. Oh, we're hanging up again? Sorry. Okay. These are cool chords. Okay, I don't want to be predictable, but I think that transition could have used a little bit of a riser element. So far in other tracks, we were talking about stuff like using a high pass filter before the drop, or having like the reverb levels swell up, or having a new high pitched sound that comes in. In this part, we've got a vocal sample cruising along, and it kind of just goes right into the bass line coming back in and the beat coming back in. So I would do something with the chords right here. That chord part, that's something I would play with right here to get extension on it somehow. Like, you know, if it's a synth, you can extend the release time so the notes get longer. So, and the notes actually have a longer duration. And then when the beat drops back in, you cut the tail of those notes back short, and all the percussion stuff feels more like like that. That's one thing I would do, and add some reverb on it. Try that maybe, or putting them up into a delay where they like something to like take up more time in the mix and a little more volume, so it feels like that thing is swelling before you get to drop the beat. Yeah, something simple. There we go. The drums are nicely mixed. All the whole drum mix is all cool. Something about the bass line is not quite working. Yeah, Scott, opening up the filters in the break and then closing them back down. Something like subtle, but it gets your attention. It doesn't have to be a reverse crash cymbal. It doesn't have to be a white noise riser. The best kind of transitions come from sounds you already have, and you use your sound design parameters to tweak them in the mix. What are you guys talking about opening up your third eye? Turning on your third amp, bi-amping your speakers. I feel like the bass line's getting swallowed. I think there is a bass line in here that's really cool, but it's not coming through. Did we get that by itself? Okay, the reason I stopped talking was I didn't want to blow out those two bumps right there, but it looks like in this section we can hear and see a bass line down here around the notes E and C, and that's not coming through and the kick drum's happening. Let's play this one more time without the kick. It's a really cool syncopated bass line. It's going boom, 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 boom. That is super cool. So that low bass pulse somehow needs to be coming through clearly when the kick drum's happening. Boom, 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 boom. Because it'll give you like a dunk, a dunk. Important for the rhythm and important for the low end. So if you can pull that up louder in the mix and get it coming through, that would be great. And now this time for the second break, there's a pad sound I would work with. Wow. And that one. Wow. Wow. It doesn't come very often. Wow. So I would basically just make every time that happens, make it louder and louder and louder and get it up towards the drop. Yeah, in that part we can hear a low bass going wow, 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 wow. out of it. Down here, that bass line that's hitting something down in the 40s doesn't need to be there at all. Since the lowest part of the bass line is around, I would say, okay, so for this, that bass synth, put a steep high pass filter up to like 65 hertz to get all the other lower sub out of there, and then crank the volume up. And you could even do it to the next octave, 130. Let's listen to this one more time. Imagine what would happen if you cut out everything below like 125 hertz from this bass part and then turned it up a bunch louder. I bet you could still feel like it's a bass and it wouldn't be lost underneath the kick drum. So we have 3 octaves right there. And that one, there were basically 3 octaves with the notes F and C. And you could work with the one that's just above 100 hertz and high pass filter the stuff below 100, turn up that synth louder, and it's going to feel like a bouncy bass synth working with the kick drum. This took me forever to get over, but I never wanted to cut out the sub part out of my synth, because when I hit solo and turned it up loud, that sub was hitting and feeling it. And I was like, I can't get rid of that part. That part is so cool. So I would put in a synth with way too much bass frequencies in it and then have the big kick drum. And I didn't want to cut the bass out of the kick drum because that also felt good. And when I was soloing both of those sounds, they both sounded like incredible. But you put them together and the low end is just getting flubbed out. Suddenly, either the kick was muddy and lost or the bass line was not coming through clearly and it didn't really gel together. So this is an example. And I know, Randy, you know this, but just for other people who are like maybe not in the farthest stages of mixing, you do have to kind of sacrifice the low end of one of the sounds. So when you solo that bass line and it's up to above, 125 hertz, it might be like, oh, I'm missing the sub end. That synth is so cool. I wish I had all that sub in there. That's not the right thing to do, because the price of that is your bass line getting lost completely out of the track. So when you have your big, huge kick drum at 50 hertz or something like that, it's okay to high pass filter your bass higher and turn it up louder. And the volume of the bass plus the sub combination in the kick drum is going to make it feel like a deep bass line, even when it's not pushing sub frequencies. It really works like magic. It's an amazing thing. And the clarity you get in your mix is worth not having it sound perfect in solo. And especially if you're working with vocals, it's totally normal to solo the vocal and be like, good God, what the hell happened to that thing? That's okay. If it sits in the mid-range with all the other synth parts and everything else, you just need it to come through and sound recognizable and sound good in the mix. So don't try to make every sound perfect as a solo sound, because that's not really the best way to get there. Lecture, lecture, lecture. Yeah, I like the shuffle, the beats. The tightness of the beats is what I really love in most of Randy's tracks. It's like, I call it clicky. It's like clicky, ticky, and right in the very beginning, we heard it, but the delay is part of it. It almost sounds like a breakbeat. Cool. So that's my notes on that track. Let's keep it moving because it's 1:07. Scott, let me pause on laced 3. I don't think, are we doing that one? Let me know if we are. Who else is here? Donats, Stevenos, Shepers, Zafa. Who's this guy? Matt Schultz. So let's go with Shepers and then Matt Schultz, because y'all are here. Ow. Yow, 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 yow. Shepers, I think we're going back into the tech world. Turn down master, and also if you're here right now and I didn't play your track, let me know. Oh. This is one where we were talking about the 600 hertz part of the rumble. It already sounds like the high end is more crisp. The low end is still nice and deep, so I can hear the difference from last time. That's good. Oh my God. What was that? That sounded like almost when you bump the record needle and it goes. The transitions are like my favorite thing because they're where you put so much personality in the track, and every genre can have different styles of them. That was rhythmic. That was cool. Oh, Matt, that's nice of you. Bye-bye. Those little breaks are awesome. Shepherds is dropping the beats. All right, I want to pull out this one frequency. I just heard a sound in here that was really noticeably a mid-range sound. Let's listen to this little gap where there's no kick drum, and we can see on the spectrum where that sound is. This is a little bit of ear training, and you want to be aware of what those frequencies are. So watch the spectrum and the gap. A 140 hertz. Matt, ratch. It's so nice and scratchy, like in a good way. Proper. Gotta stop. What happened in the end of that little breakdown section? I felt something growing and it was like swelling. Let's just check that out. How'd that happen? A little bit of a delay and a little bit of volume coming up in the sounds that were going into it, I think. As easy as that. Transitions are excellent. Little like... Yeah, Shepherds, I was looking at that 3K notch. .17 kilohertz. Little melody right there. Yeah, man, that phaser, I was following that phaser through the mid-range. I was also looking at that melody bleep, 581 hertz and then 1.7 kilohertz, double frequency, double octave, 2 beats popping up. Yes, man, totally working. This is me on the board. So what I just did right there is I put up a mid-range bump and I swept the frequency up as that flanger sound was going up to even make it more clear or full. And I got no problem with doing that. I would do that in a DJ set, and I think it sounded good here. So maybe that flanger sound could be louder or something like to make it more pronounced. Just, it's so cool. Yeah, those transitions are really, really good. Shepherds, this is sounding great. I think that mid-range synth flanger thing could be louder. And I would put a moving EQ as the flanger goes down, put a parametric EQ boost in that sound on that channel and boost it up and track the EQ boost with the flanger so that we get an even more like resonant bump, getting your attention to follow it. Shepherds. It's up between Shepherds and Scott Burke, who's improving more since last Wednesday. Crazy. This is so good. Noticeably better in the low end, and then everything else on the top got brighter, cleaner, more crisp, and especially those transitions are so cool. If you could put out a sample pack of just the transitions, even the first one, I was like, what? Yes, man. Human voice. What are you guys talking about? Resonance. Okay, cool. Yeah, anybody who wants to put out some sounds and share them, we have a section in the Discord server of samples and presets and stuff. So I'm totally into in that kind of creative collaboration of just putting like mix tools or sonic tools or little fun, like little candy sounds to play with. So nice one, Shepherds. It's 1:15. Scott, is Laced updated? It says 1 day ago, so I'm gonna guess yeah. But let's maybe come back to that and see what we got with Dream About. Shepherds. Shep got me on this one. I don't know. That opening synth is maybe just a little too loud in that 1000 hertz mid-range. Maybe. Got some decent bass line and kick drum separation happening. Little clave thing. Da, 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 da. That's a nice bass sound. There we go. A little more reverb on that clap, I think. Okay, I see you on Laced. Yeah. This bass line here is really rich. It's like textured, and the bass line has mid-range, so it feels like the low mids are thick and the melody synth on top is like meeting in the middle. Definitely that clap needs more reverb. I could use a closed hi-hat coming in, right? Do we get that? Oh, Caesar's here. Yeah, cool, man. Hi. Yes. Okay, that closed hi-hat maybe a little earlier, right? I was like waiting for it. Because now it's like, yeah. And that hi-hat could be a little louder because the high synth is so high. The synth needs, the hi-hat needs to be like more like this. That's me with the high EQ. All right, wait. A couple things happened. So when the closed hi-hat came in, the bass line changed, which was cool. But then right here before the breakdown, that bass line seems to have dropped out by itself too soon. That new synth is super cool. Boom, pop, 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 pop. Bum, 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 bum. We need like one more bar of the bass line before this gap. That might have been just an accident or something. This is cool. Very swimmy. That's that thing. Yes. Okay, earlier today I was talking about ways to make a transition interesting by using sounds that are in the track instead of pasting on a reverse crash or white noise riser. And I tried to describe the sound of changing note lengths to make them shorter and longer. And this track does it exactly. Let's just listen to this. You'll hear the notes go and get longer and longer. If you change those note lengths like that, while filtering the shit out of it with a low pass filter, it's so good. Right here. Little short ones. And now they start getting longer. Nice bassline rhythm. Da, 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 da. Making us wait for the kick drum drop. I thought that was going to be the drop right there. And there we go. So we have the reverse crash too, to signal the beat coming in. I'm wondering what kind of bassline compression you have, because the bassline notes are coming fast with a really cool rhythm, but they feel like the bassline as a whole is one bar, like whoa, whoa, whoa. And the bassline rhythm is like da 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 ba ba. Sometimes compressing the bassline you can lose the rhythm because like the attack on each individual note gets squashed. Let's just listen to this again. Okay, bump, 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 bump. It's not clear if that's going one long note with a little LFO variation or if it's short notes. Bump, 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 boom, 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 boom. That could be cool as kind of like a wobble. Or it could be like bump, 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 bump. So is there something you could do to break up the bassline rhythm to make it more distinct? Like if there's long notes, maybe you could cut the bassline notes shorter so they're hitting like a pulse, like bump, 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 bump. Or if it was an LFO modulating volume, make that modulation even deeper. So it's like whoa, 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 and then back off on the bassline compression so that in the bassline, that rhythm of detailed like, rhythm, the note patterns really comes through. I think that would be cool. And that double thing. Yeah, da 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 da. Especially here. Bop, 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 bop. I really like the sonic space overall. The top end is like a constant dreamy thing. The low end is like a pulse with good like syncopated rhythm. And then the beats are holding it together in the middle. It's cool. You can see a lot of those spikes from the synth. The atmospheric pad in the background could be a little louder right here. Ooh. Ow, the export with no tail. Cool, great track, really good space, good vibe, good feel. I gave a bunch of mixed notes, clap drum, clap, snare drum, clap sound, more reverb. Something with the bass line to get the rhythm more pronounced, either shorter notes or, you know, I talked about that a bunch. And the very, very first sound of the synth was kind of spiky. And believe it or not, 1K or 1.5 kilohertz can be, it can feel super high frequency, even though it's solidly in the mids. But when that part is too loud, you can see like there's several little spikes of frequency coming up. So you're going to need to EQ the opening synth a little bit, especially because it's in so much and it's up in that high range going on. So don't let that get like ear fatigue on the highs. Let's just check that very opening sound again. 908, 1000, 1.3. All those little spikies that look spiky can feel spiky, especially when it gets louder and louder on a big system. They just scale it up to like a big PA. So just watch out for that. Great rhythms. Okay, I can't play this whole track again. Yeah. Bass pattern, yep. Detuning works for my ears. Oh, detuning works? What are you talking about detuning? I'm not sure what sound that's in reference to. Bo, I saw your comment, but I didn't see your track. So let's listen to the first couple minutes of Laced, and I'll go over to Discord and look for a Bo's track. Boda Rev, where did you post your track? It's kind of hard for me to find it if I don't see a thread. So Scott, is that the first chords right here? Phil Lewis, track not found. Great vocals. All right, Scott, what are we talking about with the chords here? Just had a little overload with absent, freezing stuff and everything. You said something about the opening chords, but it sounded... I mean, I was just listening as I was moving around Windows, and it all sounded really good. So I'm not sure what is the change on here. These chords are great. Yeah. It sounds amazing. The chords are perfectly, like, the volume is right. The chords are the right chords. The tone is cool. Little more beef on the low end, maybe. Splitting the bass and all that, yeah. Added keys to the percussive intro. Am I even hearing the right thing? Are we talking about these chords right here? Yeah, I think so. Cool. Got infected by the Matt Schultz dub techno chord stabs. What fun. All right, it's 1:30. Let's see how many tracks we can get through before... I don't know what. Let's see. All right, Ian, thanks. I'm sorry that's freezing up. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, man, that vocal is great, and that little snare tap was really nice and bright. I like it already. Ah, nice entry with that bass sound. Let's look at that again on Spectrum. Nice and buzzy. Yeah, Bo, this sounds great. All right, I see you guys, the stream is freezing, but the audio is smooth, right? What I'm seeing is a little circle with me in it keeps moving and the audio keeps going, but the picture stream freezes. Is that right? Yeah, that bass sound is great, man. I like this track. It's more simple than your usual stuff. There's not a million layers of synths, and it works really well, like kick, bass, beats, vocal, and one other upper pad synth. That's so good. Okay, that new hi-hat shaker needs to be louder. I'm jacking up the high-end EQ right now. That was me. Now there's a synth that's a little too loud. Oh, wow, 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 wow. That one's a little too loud, and the hi-hats are a little too quiet. So just get those kind of like this. I love those snare taps. Is that a tick, tick? What was that? So good and simple. Okay, I'm gonna leave the high-end EQ boost up. I think I gotta put my mic over here so I can EQ and talk. I'm used to doing it over there, but now it's over here. This is really good, man. Oh, Oliver, you're hearing a BPM synchronized vocal. I didn't really notice that, but I hear what you're saying. The vocal could be shifted a little bit. Before we get there, Bo, there is a moment in the middle here you could cut the hi-hat snare thing. We're on 3.5. Right there on that crash. Cut out the hi-hats. I think you don't need the percussion right here. And then it comes back in, it'll be like a drop, you know? I feel the vocal is rushed a little bit. It's like leading the beat. Do you hear that? Three years of sleep, you guys. That felt inside out, where the hi-hat and the snare went on too long and then the kick dropped with the beats stopped. That section... So right here, it's okay to have the hi-hats in. I was get a time. Coming up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut the snare and hi-hat at 423. Let the synth ride in the vocal. There's another little synth behind it. Bounce, 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 bounce. Do a reverb blossom right here. And then... I guess it's okay to have the kick drum come in by itself with no beats, but in the section before this, the hi-hat and the snare again, they were going on too long in the empty space when there was so much room for those synths to do some cool stuff and go up into the effects. There we go. That bass line's so great. Oh. This part's super cool. This ending part's like so cool. Oh no, we need more. Oh man, this is bullshit. Yeah, after that, right here at 510, do this thing again after that last Set Me Free vocal and just slam it with like bass and beats for like another 8 or 16 bars. This part's cool. I love how those snare taps are so bright and out front. Very cool track. So, wow, that feels like a different production world from where you're coming from. This sounds a lot more like a deep house or a progressive house track. Those snare drums go that's like the big floor house kind of sound. But compared to like psytrance and the trance stuff that you do, I guess the trance, not side, trance. Previously, we heard a lot of like huge synth stacks that are just so many sounds layered up, massive, massive. And this is a lot more stripped down and simple. And I really like it. It's actually, it's so easy. You get into the groove right there. You kind of have the elements. The track is more compact. We don't have 3-minute breakdowns. And each element is easy to identify. And believe it or not, you can appreciate each sound more when you don't have so many sounds around it. So I like the simplicity in this one. I made some notes specifically as individual sounds are too loud or whatever. Main thing is the hi-hat layer needs to be louder with more high frequency to like kind of get in the mix around the synths. And then those few spots in the arrangement where you can cut out the hi-hats and snares and really work the synth reverbs and let the synth like be up front and take the space. And make it longer. Yeah, it ends like a cool tech house track. And this little rhythm, I don't think I heard it before like this. This little jam. And again, that little snare tap is so good. And you didn't overuse it too. It's once in a while. It's not every 8 bars. You didn't overuse it. That's probably why it sounds so good. So cool track. Roll up all those comments into a ball and put them into next Wednesday. So Phil Lewis, Zafa, the Goose Step V2. And philosophically gain staged. Now that's what I like to hear. I don't always know what the hell you guys are talking about over there, but I like it. Okay, we got Phil Lewis, Denats, Stevenos. A couple more. Might be done by 2. A lot of interesting sonic visitors like pew pew. The background drone sound I think could be a little louder. Oh, nice effects. I'm gonna turn this up. Stereo is a little too wide on that hi-hat. It's good to have stereo width and that kind of hi-hat, but that's a little too wide. It's like... Okay, there's a good rhythmic foundation. It feels like the mid-range visitor synths that are bouncing around and everything are sort of overpowering the kick drum and bass foundation. It feels like the bass and the kick are too low, relatively, so I'm gonna try and boost those up. This is awesome. Oh, do we get that again? That rhythm is super cool. All right, hold on. That little part is so freaking cool. It's like you're teasing us and not keeping it in long enough. That little thing that goes that once that starts, that should keep going because it is so good. It's like you just don't want it to stop. So let's hear, where did that first come in? I boosted up the low EQ to get the bass foundation a little bit louder. And when that first sound comes in, it almost sounds like laughing, like I just want that to keep going and don't change it. It's always like one of the most tragic things that can happen is when there's a track with a super amazing couple of bars and then it changes again. You're like, shit, I just wanted it to keep doing that. So where'd that start? I love the delay happening here. Zing. That new sound, just keep doing that. Yeah, keep that going. That sounds amazing. Oh, right there, we fucked up. 157. Don't stop that sound. And then we got lost right here. I could still have it keep going right here. Really cool sound design though. All right, now it's a little bit chaotic. And now we're like kind of back to the intro feel, sort of lost. So the thing that happens is once that lead comes in, to me, that's the body of the track. And you could build everything else that happens around that as long as it keeps going. So this is where it should be kind of formulaic, where like once that comes in, have like, I don't know, 32 bars of that with the kick drum, the sub bass, that sound happening, and the beats like trucking along. And you will absolutely bring people with you. And then have this gap where it drops out and you do the really, really like spacey sound effects things. And when the drop comes back, bring that sound back in there. Don't worry about being predictable or boring or whatever. It's not. It's going to be super cool because people are going to like it so much the first time, they want to hear it again the second time. And then you can filter to do variations. Let's see what else we have to play with. Right, adding percussion layers. You can repeat that synth melody, add the drums and picking up the percussion to make the track stay interesting and do stuff. Yo, that sound design's crazy. Yeah. I love the experiments with the sound design, sounds going into the delay, tweaking a sound, having the delay tweak. Just give us that lead melody thing. No, again, this is changing too much. That sound, just have that be that one thing. That sound does that one pattern. And what'll work really well is if you mute it and send it into the delay like you've been doing with some of the effects. That'll be really cool. That's where you can get the variation and stuff. But it feels like the track is, you haven't really decided which part is going to be like the dominant focus of the action, maybe. Little bit, yeah. So let's keep going. Yeah. There's a great dynamic range in the mid-range too. It's super bouncy and lots of like sounds coming out that you get them really loudly in a clear way. I have the low end EQ boosted up pretty good amount right here. So in general mixed notes, the low end is kind of overall, like the kick and the sub are good by themselves. Their relationship to each other is good, but the rest of the track is so much more in the mid-range and highs that the low end could come up a bunch. And yeah, really, if you get this centered with the beat and that one synth doing that pattern as like the core of the track, and then all the other sounds are coming and going and echoing around it, that's going to be great. That's all we need. Yeah. It's funny, and it's like... Just this is so good right here. And then when it stops, I'm like sad. Oh. It reminds me of Put Your Hands Up for Detroit. If you know Put Your Hands Up for Detroit, you might think it's the cheesiest song in the world, but it's a rhythmic synth that just keeps going over and over and over and over and over again, and people like it. So sometimes it's okay to have a super predictable synth pattern rhythm that does the same exact thing the whole way through, and you add and subtract percussion layers to keep the track interesting and play with all the other synths that are slurping around and doing cool stuff. This would be a great track, actually. Simplicity is what the arrangement needs with that one sound. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you agree. Or I'm not trying to be super critical. It's like, I like that part so much, and then it stops. And I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to keep going. So that's my comment on that, and the low end mix and the other stuff. And bring that back. It'll be great. And what happened with our ending? That was kind of an ending. We could use a little bit more mix out kind of section at the ending, where you cut the kick drum, take those other spacey sounds that you had from the beginning, and play around with the delays and stuff. It's so kind of chaotic and interesting. Those sounds are like shoo, shoo, shoo. So good sound design, and I'm not going to repeat everything I just said, but good. What do we got? Back to the arrangement phase. Well, yeah, it's okay to have the arrangement simple. You don't have to have it like too much variation and changing, because it's sort of like the variations you have are like, sort of sounds like somebody experimenting with tons of different ideas to see which ones are going to be the good ones, but it never sticks really with one of them long enough to settle into it. And there's one idea in there that's so excellent, it's worth it to just keep that and don't make all those other variations because you don't need it. So we got Donats, Stevenos, and Mr. Melvis. And let's see what we got here. Is anybody else watching that I didn't play your track? Let me know. So the Lego men go for a bike ride, or the Lego people. That's a lot of sub in that opening bass sound. I don't know. I like the groove. Bam, 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 bam. I really got to say that opening synth has so much low end in it that when the kick drum comes in, you're getting fuzzed out. Yeah, that opening synth could be filtered up to like 150 and still function. It'd be cool. Let's see where we go. Awesome. Adam Hatfield with the grooves, though. Oh my God. I had the bass EQ up from the last track, my bad. If you watch the bass notes, you can see the upper version and the lower version. So there's a lot of bass line around 170, 200 that would be cool. And you don't need the sub to be fighting against the kick drum. Good groove. All right, it's growing. I like it. Little vocal sample. Yeah, right here. So there's a something like an electric piano sound. It's like I hear it. That could be a bunch louder. I'm jacking up the mid-range right here. So what I did was I basically took the low end down a little bit, boosted the mid-range and the highs to just get the front of the track like, ow, ow, that part. And that's back to flat EQ. So Adam, get some of the sub out of that bass line, get the mid-range of this, get that sound louder, and I think we're good to go. Listen to those hi-hats. Super rhythmic. And some delay at the end. And when I say super rhythmic, I'm talking about the gaps in between the hi-hats, because it's not just like chicka 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 chicka. It's going like chicka 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 chicka. And it like pulls you in every time. Creating rhythm by having a constant sound and chopping out little micro gaps in it is so cool. Yeah, this groove, man. I'll put this on my toast and eat it. Yay. This ending's awesome. Ah, damn it. I needed that to go on longer. Adam, cool track. The bass line has too much low end. It's fighting with the kick. Pull up the mid-range on that other little synth thing that was around here. Both these two sounds. That sounds like something a guitar riff would play. Dirty Birds, yeah. Yeah. Okay, read the comments. Everybody's putting in good comments. Bye-bye, Lego guys. Stevenos. Is this tech? What is this? A month ago. I don't even know if this is a current track. I think this might be a preview of something that's going to get released. Let's just take a listen. Whoa. High frequency. Okay, let's try that. Start off again. We're going to just look at that spectrum. 1.6K. Remember a minute ago I was saying that 1500 hertz could sound like a high frequency sound even if it's not super high? Just look at what happens on the spectrum when this track starts. If I could keep my mouse clicks under control. Okay. Reset. You saw my reaction, and that sound was just so much louder than everything else. I was like, whoa! So we got to bring that down, 1.6. Yes, Bo, your tags do work. I see them in orange on my side. Nice echo. Yeah, definitely this is like the mix in beat match kind of section, waiting for something to happen. Coming in at about a minute. You're listening to track feedback. Feels a little empty in the mid-range. There's like a low end, there's high end, kind of a lot of empty space in the mids. Little shaker hi-hat could be louder. We really need some chords or synth or something in the mid-range because there's a squeaky high end and the low end and like nothing in the whole middle, like compositionally. Okay. Okay, so compositionally, this is a bass line, a beat, and a vocal sample that are cool, you know? Like it's got rhythm and it's got an idea to it, but we really need something to connect the bass line harmonically up to the the high pitch vocal thing, because the whole middle of the track is like emptiness. Compositionally empty, you know what I mean? So yeah, and the resonant high end and everything, yeah. So add another element like a synth lead or a bubbly arpeggiated mid-range synth or some stab chords or some dub chords, something like that, to give the body of the track more body, because right now it's like a super skeleton, like bones, you know, which is okay, but it just needs more. And Mr. Melvis, Todd Mavis, is not watching right now, so we can say whatever we want about his track. I'm kidding. He's going to get us on the replay. So here we go. And this is a brand new track. Boards of Canada. Oh wait, no, we did hear this on Wednesday, didn't we? Yeah, okay, I remember this. We heard this. I think this might be a new mix, though. Drum section needs to be louder. High frequency sound is good. Piano is good. Let me bring this up. Nice groove. That might be a little too soon for the climb section, because that groove is so good. I could go longer with the groove before this part. Not life and death, but comment. Also, you could really cut the drums out of here and bring it back on a crash. So that climb thing feels like it's going up. Emotionally, it's going up. You don't need to have the beat. The beat is established by then. The tempo is established, and we didn't change tempo. And that's a fantastic spot to bring it back in with one of those big Zeppelin crashes, like whoosh, that have that sound, you know. Not super high frequency, like kind of almost like a muffled a little bit, but bright still. Like a long crash. That arpeggiator lead is great. This panning. Good stereo action. I think this is a different mix from Wednesday somehow. I think this might actually be the same version as last Wednesday. So let it play for a minute. Yeah. I dig it. All right, Bo, see you later. That was me with the reverb. Yeah, Todd, that's a cool track. That's a cool track. I think I actually looked at Discord and replied to a comment from Wednesday just now in the chat. I was like, oh, that's a Wednesday comment. So that's a good one. Bring that back. And if you need more comments on it, we got some for you today. So now it is time. I'm going to play what I've been working on. So this is that Crunchbase track, Mix 6. I didn't get it uploaded into Discord yet. But what I want feedback on is the new lead sound And since you guys heard it last, I changed the timing on the bass main synth. Well, let's listen to it. That's a wavy spectrum. And here's the new lead. Bow, 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 bow. Little high-end EQ on the hi-hats. I like that sound. Wah, 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 wah. The double kick drum bumps, playing around with those. I think I would tell myself to cut the hi-hats right here. Steve, 145, cut the hi-hats. Yeah. I'm getting so much motivation from commenting on the tracks from you guys and trying to do stuff that's as good as what I'm commenting on. Those little kick drum bumps, the little drops, changing the form to make it better. Like, so much of the stuff I give as reviews, I really try to apply to my own track. So the arrangement's not done on this one. Matt, that is not sidechain. That's a bunch of different LFOs and filters. There's one filter inside operator and then some auto filters afterwards and an auto pan. I'm happy with how the low end is working. You can see there's the baseline notes popping up above the kick drum really clear. Leave the hats, Matt Schultz. Oh my God. And we got another 5 minutes of this track. So the main question is, how is that lead melody? Is that working? Okay, Caesar, got you more mids for the bass. Thank you. Oliver, thank you on the claps. Yeah. So the main strategy here with the arrangement was to take that pad sound, do a long dub of just tweaking it and playing with the sounds, and then build some beats around it to flow with that thing. Little delay action. This is like the breakdown dub, kinda. D1, 73 hertz, 72 hertz. Now we're on like a single bass note drone kind of thing. Freaking out the synth. Maybe it could use a little better definition of that transition back to this baseline part 1. I think I'll work on that. All right, let's see how we get out of this one. Oh. There's like the super kick drum bass line dub at the end. Little pad action. Whoa. Extra kicks. So Matt, what are you hearing? Somewhere between the lower mids, upper bass, there's some masking happening, takes away the low end energy a bit. I think it's one of the pads. Yeah, I think you're right. So what I'm gonna do is I got the pads and synths all in a stereo group together so I can EQ that and the bass line in a separate spot. Yeah, okay. Maybe strip the bass line and just keep the high spectrum elements. Cool. Oh, a fluffy, flowy vibe. I'll take it. All right, thanks for the feedback. And specifically, so that melody line that's going down, 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 down. Wait, what's it doing? Da, da, down, 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 down. Do you think that top line melody works? And now it stops being a melody and just turns into a drone, right? I hope that works. I started that as just an idea like last night. I think I'm going to keep it because I like it. It has that thing of like a smooth motion that you could sort of sing along with. You could even play it on an instrument, like on a piano. You could like play that and have it be like a song as that. So what else? Last third of the track, the bass line's playing without pads. Yeah, my bass playing's no pads. That's right here, right? Basically, bass line playing with no pads. Is that where you hear that the low end? Yeah. Then right here where the pad is coming in real low, I remember I had the filter down to like 350 or something, so that's very definitely in the lower mids. Ooh. You can see right down there, about 300. Shit. Okay. I know what to do. That's going to be the end of track feedback for today. 4 people still watching after 2 hours. Awesome. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm trying to pick up some more students for our track feedback crew and add a 3rd day because 2 hours is cool, but this is pretty much the limit. And that's about 12 tracks that we do every time. And if this is going to grow and I want to have everybody's track get reviewed as much as possible. So I'm thinking we might add a 3rd day and maybe do like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, like college classes. I'm not doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday because Saturday is such a good day. I could add a Sunday, I guess, but maybe a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday track feedback sessions. Yes, that part. Thanks, Matt. Oh, and then sidechaining the pads group. Actually, yeah, I don't think I had any sidechain running with the pads and the kick or anything. And then if we could add the interviews on Discord. And I'm still planning on getting some Discord group hangouts happening and putting in interviews and everything like that. So anyway, I'm super happy with how everything is going. As always, I wish I had more time to spend on Discord just commenting on every single thread. There's so many cool conversations going on. We got DJ Waters doing fuzzy kick drum style. We got Ty Slackhouse building a studio, who should be bringing in some photos soon, and the whole saga of mastering ongoing. So thank you so much, everybody. Caesar, Jesper's still here, the Matt Schultz. And that's going to do it. As always, you know what I'm going to do. Drink coffee, go for a bike ride. So keep it going, everybody. I'll see you in the future. The tunnel. Woo! Which button's the right button? Oh, my God. I can't get